Finally. Let's do this for real. Sorry it took so long. You know what these legal types are like? Yes, sir. No, sir. Here's 80 pages of needless jargon, sir. Anyway, believe it or not, this is my excited face. Come on, come on. Let me show you what we've got. So, all the usual stuff. Merchandising, likeness, blah, blah, blah. But the really juicy stuff is their expectation of you. They need you to challenge yourself all season, be the best you can be, dominate your teammate, become a legend. All that jazz. Now, it's over to you.
What is going on, buddy? Zach RC here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome along to the first part of my F1 24 Driver Career Mode series. Our first race in Formula 1 taking place today. If you guys did miss the prologue episode, the F2 episode uploaded yesterday, make sure to go check that one out. I've loved the reception on it so far, so thank you guys for watching that one. And I hope you'll enjoy this one as much. Now, of course, F2 season was quite short, and so now we're looking into our team that we're going to sign for the 2024 season. Now, of course, we are a Red Bull Junior. We contested F2 in the Carlin, which is obviously a Red Bull liveried car. So in this case, I think we kind of have to go with the RB at this point. I did consider Alpine and Sauber, but RB in the end was what sold it for me. In terms of teammate, look, Yuki Tsunoda has largely outperformed Daniel Ricciardo so far this season. So of the two of them, I want to go with Tsunoda. Last year, we went for Nick de Vries, and that backfired horribly. He wasn't very good in the end. So Tsunoda is our teammate this time around. Hopefully, he'll give us a bit more of a challenge. And yeah, looking forward to getting things underway here. So next thing I have to look into is our brand new contract for the season. Now, of course, so the main target in terms of contract is what driver rating will be at the end of the season. And that'll give us a certain amount of recognition within the team. In terms of target, we're going to go for a very solid 80. We're 74 at the minute. I think we can get 80 by the end of the season. So go ahead and sign that.
We're signed. We are on the Formula 1 grid for 2024. That sounds awesome to say. Time to go crush that target. I'll see you soon.
So we have it. We are now on the F1 2024 grid. This is our new driver headquarters, one of the new features implemented into this year's game. So the HUD is looking a bit different than it used to in the past. We used to just have our race car, but this time we have us as the driver. The emphasis has been put on the driver this year. Just stand there in our house. So having a look through the different menus we got to put into play here. So first we'll have a look at our messages. Our first rivalry is there in Tsunoda as our teammate. We've got three different rivalries over the course of our career. So we got our teammate rivalry, which will always remain, the championship rivalry based on positions in the standings, and one for driver rating. So I imagine they'll probably be the closest to our rating. We've got specialists there who will give us the objectives to complete over the course of the weekend. I think the first one is just to complete the race weekend, nice and simple. There's our accolades, so we'll get different achievements for race starts, top 10 finishes, top 5 qualifying, podium finishes, and of course championship points and the championships themselves. And there's our contract, so of course we need to reach 80 by the end of the season, otherwise risk losing our seat, and everything else in there is more or less the same. So advance time here and look further on into the Grand Prix weekend. Our weekly resources as we normally do, and this is one of the well promoted parts. This is the grid reveal, so we get a real cinematic here about what the grid looks like for this 2024 season. Look at that. Fantastic stuff. And you can see us there, just the 5th person on the left. Honestly, I like that. I like the idea of that. And I imagine we'll get one of those each season, which is nice to see. There's our season objective email. So I have to show some patience to the first part of the season, as we expect our initial pace to be towards the back of the grid. So as expected there for RB, but we'll try and work our best in order to get ourselves up the order. In terms of working out the order, development obviously plays a key part in that, and both myself and Yuki will be getting resource points so we can put those onto things ourselves.
Upgrades can be purchased by you and your teammate, so remember to play nice. Each upgrade will be labelled with the driver that purchased it. Any upgrade that's been completed will be applied to both cars at the team. But no matter who did it, remember that if the car's slow, well, it's down to the drivers, and if it's quick, it's all thanks to me.
So in terms of upgrades then, Yuki's already going for a chassis upgrade to get kicked off, so we'll get all the upgrades he makes. In terms of our first upgrade, so we've got a few resource points to spend ourselves, we're going to look into, I think, aerodynamics for this one. I mean, they all look tempting, but I think in terms of, I mean, Chassis stays out of the way because he's doing it himself. So we'll do an air upgrade there, and actually come in after the second Grand Prix, the looks of things. So we can see our parts and also what Yuki's going for too. So that's a nice way to sort of keep track of who's doing what. So that's more or less it for any development pre-season. So without further ado, let's jump into the first race weekend in Bahrain.
Well, as the sun goes down, the speeds go up. It's almost time to get underway for this shootout for the fastest time and the best possible grid position for tomorrow's race. Let's get on with it. It's qualifying for the Bahrain Grand Prix.
So there we go then. Ready for our first session, our first qualifying session in Formula 1. So here we are, back once again in the cockpit of the RB. Of course, it was the AlphaTauri last year, so we've been in this position before. And last time, to my knowledge, to my memory, we didn't make it out of Q1. So we'll be looking this time to make it out of that first qualifying session if we can at least get closer.
Again, mate. We've made some changes to the way that ERS works this year, so you're going to have multiple modes to choose from in the race now. Have a play around with them in your MFD during the practice sessions and think about how you might use them on race day. I'll check back with you soon to chat more about it.
Here we go then, out of the pit lane and going on to our first flying run. And I must say, I do prefer the look of the RB compared to the AlphaTauri from last year. I mean, the AlphaTauri is quite nice, but this is, I think, far best to look at. ERS completely off, so we'll avoid using that till we actually go out for our first lap. In the meantime, we'll just get the tyres up to temperature and make sure everything is ready for that first flying run. Still sort of get to grips with the medium traction compared to, obviously, the last episode where we were at F2, so it's a bit different. I've got to readjust to driving these cars compared to the Formula 2 cars. I've done a lot of those in the last few months. Here we go though, first qualifying lap, ready to go on the board. One of the Red Bulls behind us, I believe that is Verstappen. So we'll see when we stack up compared to the world champion. We start our first run down that long main straight towards turn number 1. Clean track around us, and ERS now into hot lap mode. We did have it on overtake at the start, so let's try and get some of that back if we can. Through turn 1, nice and smooth, over the curbs at turn 2. Oh, bit of a slide there. Going to try and avoid that as best we can over the remainder of this first run. And pushing further on now into the end, towards the end of the first sector, into turn 4, nice and smooth, brushing that curb just a bit, not sliding on the exit, and perhaps will be one of our danger points for the majority, or for the lap, I think. And now into the last couple of corners, into sector 3 we go. 2 more right-handers to come. It's been a solid time. Verstappen is closing on us there, so that's not a good sign at all. It definitely shows we're a few seconds back from the Red Bull as it stands. But Gasly sets the first time, 1 minute 31.498. We'll try and match him in the Alpine if we can. Off the last corner, a little bit of a slide there. I imagine the rear tyres take quite a beating over the course of this episode, but charging towards the line to set our first lap into 1 minute 31.416, which is briefly the fastest time before the Dutchman quickly overhauls us, 129.9 for the world champ. So we've got quite a bit of work to do in order to close up to those Red Bulls over the course of the season, which I doubt we will, but we'll get as close as we can to them and see how things stack up. Okay, accelerate time here. We're P9 after the first, more or less, the first run or so of stops, but once everyone else goes through, we fall down inside the bottom 5. We're down to P18. Sargent and Gasly, the only car slower than us. We're only a few tenths off of Q2 though, so notice they're in the drop or on the drop zone in 15th place. So to come towards our second run here on the other set of soft tyres we get in the first qualifying session. This lap I wasn't too pleased with it to start off. I gained time, but that was just due to the fact that I was learning all the ERS over the curbs there, so not at all positive. So for this run, we're going to back off. We're going to try and back the ERS up, turn it off completely, and we'll save it up and go for the next run. I think that'd be quite helpful over the course of qualifying in the season, where if I don't feel like I'm too good with the lap, then I can definitely go again and recharge the ERS for that. And now pushing on to that second attempt, this time we'll do a lot better. We're 7-8 tenths up. I had a brief slide in the second sector, but wasn't too much of a concern there. ERS there on overtake as we come towards the last corner. Of course, we do need this lap to get into Q2, so we'll see how we stack up with a slide there. I'm not sure how much everyone else has improved, though, to come towards the line. Let's see if we have enough to get through the second part of qualifying. Sonoda is out in P16. Do we join him at the end of qualifying? No, we don't. P13. And that's enough to get us into the second qualifying session. Fantastic stuff there. Debutant and out of Q1. Magnussen, Sonoda, Hulkenberg, Gasly, and Sargent make it the bottom 5. We squeeze through by just 3 tenths there, so fantastic start. And I doubt we'll make it to Q3, but it's worth a go. Russell sets the fast lap at Q2 there, 1 minute 30. As we push on to our first lap in Q2. Now we only get 1 set of soft tyres here, so we're using them now. I imagine we'll probably use those again for our second run if we choose to go for a second run, which I imagine we probably should do. Verstappen there, once again, 129.8, a lot faster than the Merc here, so they could be in trouble in themselves, perhaps falling towards the midfield. We've got a car behind us. That's one of the Williams by the looks of it, based on the icon I can see on the map there. Off the last corner, over the curbs a bit too much there. And on the exit, charging towards the line. We'll see where we stack up. It's slower than our Q1 lap, 1 minute 31.3, as Albon goes roaring past in the Williams there. And that'll be the end of our first run. So lucky we didn't have him in front of us as opposed to behind us, because we had all the dirty air there. And across the line for our second effort later on in the session, didn't really improve. 1 minute 31.331 is our lap, and then knocks us out qualifying. We join Piastri, Zhou, Albon and Ocon in the bottom 5. So P14 for the race is not at all nothing to be complaining about, but I'm looking forward to this one now. We're right amongst the pack. Hopefully we'll have a good debut race. It's time now for the Bahrain Grand Prix.
Months of rumour and speculation all come to an end today as we return to racing for the opening event of what promises to be an enthralling season. Welcome along then to round 1 of this year's Formula 1 World Championship. There's no shortage of passing opportunities around the 3.36 miles of the Bahrain International Circuit, with the best, of course, at turn 1, and then another soon after into turn 4. 15 corners here, 6 to the left and 9 to the right, and we could see 1 or 2 flat spots into that tight left-hander of turn 10. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position, and Lando Norris lines up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Fernando Alonso, Sainz, Hamilton, Leclerc, Russell, Stroll, Bottas, Oscar Piastri, Zhou, Albon, Cohen, Ocon, Magnussen, Tsunoda, Hulkenberg, Gasly and Logan Sargent. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway. Well, it's been a long time since I last worked with you. Good to see you again today, Anthony Davidson. Now, Ant, as much as I like testing, and I do love testing, and I've really enjoyed the build-up here and all the speculation, I really want to see some action. And finally today, we get some proper action on the track.
You're going to definitely see action, Crofty. Everyone's G'd up for this one. They've done the testing, like you say. The drivers will be revving inside, heart rates going, trying to burst out their chest at this moment. With that anticipation, who's got the speed? We're going to learn now, once and for all.
Ready to check? Should we just want to go ahead and say what an honour it is to be driving this race car? Hopefully we can get off to a rolling start and get some points on the board. So we go then, time for action here at the Bahrain Grand Prix, the first race of our F1 career with RB. In terms of strategy here, a bit of a change compared to the last game. I'm not sure this because the game is raw and fresh out. I'm not sure if they'll patch this. I hope they don't. But it looks like we're dealing with a 2-stop race today, and we'll have to use all 3 compounds of tyres. So we're going to start on the softs, going to pit onto a set of hard tyres, and sort of pit around early to late first 10 laps or so, and then go on to mediums around lap 20. And stay on those to the end of the Grand Prix. Of course, we'll lower the fuel as always. I forgot to turn on formation laps, so I had to go straight in here. But here we go. Lights are now coming on for the first race of our F1 24 career. Under the lights here in Bahrain. And it's lights out, foot to the floor. Go, go, go. We are underway. Great getaway there compared to Albon on our left-hand side. We're going to go past Zhou in the Sauber as well as we charge towards turn 1. Ocon on the high side. He's going to try and pull to the inside. Going to go even deeper than he does into turn 1. To the inside of the Canadian Lance Stroll into the first corner. Over the curb there. Good exit, but Stroll gets the better of us through turn 2. Let's try and maintain control of the car as best we can there. But 2 places gained off the line. Fantastic stuff. We'll try and move up through the field as best we can. And we try and catch Stroll. ERS in full deploy as we go towards turn 4. Single file behind us, no threat from Ocon behind, off of 4 and now charging towards the second sector. Bottas and Piastri fighting for P9 in front. Piastri wins out on that occasion, right on the back of the Aston Martin as we run through the S's here and looking towards turn 8. We made a few passes here in the F2 race, going to try and do the same thing here to the inside of Lance Stroll and making the pass work. This time, nice and clean, no dramas, and on the exit we are away and into P11. So there's a 3rd place there. Stroll on the medium tyres, so I imagine he's probably a bit slower on the start regardless. Bottas our next target, he's also on the mediums, and we're looking at a points pay in place if we can keep this pace up with the top 10 as we charge down towards turn number 11, that left-hander into turn 12. Towards the braking zone we come, and looking to stay with the flying fin as best we can. Over the curve, a bit too much there, struggling for control off the corner, and there we go, big spin. That was very, very close to ending our race. Sorry, that was quite poor. I'll step out. Back to square one again. Oh, look at the replay from Lance Stroll's perspective as we fall 3 places and very nearly end our debut race on the first lap. Look at the tyre smoke there. I imagine our soft tyres were taking quite a rubbing from that. So Stroll back into P11 and we're back to square one, as I say, down in P14 once again. So technically nothing lost except for tyre grip on the opening lap, and I imagine the temperatures will be up quite a bit as well. On to lap 2, and DRS now in play very early on compared to how it used to be 1 lap before this, or 1 lap after this rather. Hulkenberg and Albon going side by side towards turn 1 behind us, neither one of them threatening us for the minute. Ocon and Stroll going at it into that first turn as well. Zhou is our next target once again. And to push further on into that, we're going to try and take him again in the same place we did Stroll. Following the Sauber through the corner, of course, one of the two newly renamed teams for this season. The inside of the racetrack once again from a long way back. And again, this time we stuffed the curves a bit more. We've managed to make it stick without any trouble whatsoever. So another move completed. We're back into P13 again. So we can start working our way towards the top 10 once more. Past Stroll. And now looking to try and take Ocon too. Going towards off the last corner. DRS in play for us again. Verstappen sets the fastest lap. He is pulling away at the front. Dominance as expected. DRS deployed. Stroll going to pull to the inside of the racetrack now to charge towards that first corner. He wants his share of the position back as we go into turn 1. They're trying to outbrake him and Ocon if we can get on the outside of the Frenchman. And now through turn 1, no contact made, and we are there on his inside, holding steady. A bit of a wobble there, but we managed to get away with it. No contact with Ocon. DRS now in full deploy as we go towards the right-hander once more. And jumping in front of the Frenchman into the braking zone. He's still there on our inside, so we've got to give him the room, but on the exit, we more or less have him as he'll pull back into line. So Ocon down to P12, and we're back in P11, but fighting these guys as Bottas has pulled away to a 3-second advantage, so our chance to fight for points slipping very quickly here. Look at the rear tyres, they're already a quarter of the way worn, so that's not a fantastic start. It's probably due to the sliding we're doing off these corners. Still getting to grips with the traction, trying to avoid sliding too much. Our next tyres are hard, they're obviously brand new hard tyres. We've got new mediums, but a used set of softs as well. I'm not sure how used those are, because those have been one of the sets we used in qualifying, so I don't want to go into those if I don't have to. So we'll try and use the mediums as best we can. If Verstappen fastest lap once again, pushing towards lap 5 of this Grand Prix, and Ocon, once again, there he goes to the right-hand side of the racetrack, and looking for position number 11 back from us. He'll take it with ease. There comes Stroll too, going to try and make a double whammy into turn 1, can't quite do it. Ocon is in front of us, but Stroll is not, so we'll take P12 back and try and get back on the Frenchman as soon as we can to go over the curbs there. Another bit of a slide there, not good at all, not what we want to be doing at this stage of the race. Too early on for that to happen. We're about midway through our first stint.
Mate, engine's running very hot, engine very hot. Let's try and pull out from behind the car in front and cool things down.
There's our first objective for the race. Avoid engine staying above 141 degrees Celsius for 10 seconds per lap. Nice and easy. The temperature's at 128, 129 now, so we're not doing too bad on that. That'll probably be an easy objective to figure out, especially now we've got around Ocon. But Ocon falls out of favour with that pass, and he's now behind Stroll. Stroll's going to try and take us on now. He's going to go to the inside of the racetrack, going into the last corner. We tried to let him outbrake us almost in order to try and get DRS, but it wasn't to be. The plan didn't quite work. But Stroll falls back and loses momentum, so he probably won't take us here on the main straight that much of a fight. But no DRS for us, unfortunately, and no battery either. We've went through a lot of that battery very early on in this race. So Stroll looking to close, but doesn't get close enough to make a move, so it kind of works. But there's 3 wide behind us. Ocon, Stroll, Zhou are 3 main targets in this race. We've taken them all on, and now they're all fighting for the right to take us on again.
Okay, be aware, the grip levels are going to start falling away soon.
Yeah, no. And that's not a nice sight given how the rear tyres are being incredibly heated here. You see the slide through turn 4 there. On to the number 6 now. Zhou's won the battle. He owns the right to take us back on. Down the main straight again. And the pit window now open for our hard tyres. Zhou gets in front. Stroll's going to try it again. This time he does get alongside us. Going into turn 1, we have to outbrake him as best we can. And go to the inside of Zhou too. That's a bit unnecessary, to be fair. Didn't really need to go for that dive. So we'll let him go for the minute and set up for another run going towards turn 4. Contact there. Surprised we didn't get a warning for it, but we'll take what we can get. DRS deployed once more, and to the inside of the racetrack going towards turn 4, outbraking the Sauber into the corner, over the curbs there, forcing him off his line slightly, but no contact made, robust but fair, and we're back into P11, once again shutting the door on Guan Yu Zhou. Continuing to push on here, that engine target looks nice and safe for the minute, and I imagine we'll finish it off here, but here we come now for our first pit stop of the race. Perez in as well from the top 3 positions, so he'll be joining us at the back of the pack, but so we're the only ones coming to the pits.
Nice work, you smashed it. Really good job on hitting that target, mate.
So soft tyres going off the car, hard tyres going on. Optimal turn in here, trying to get the job done as easy as we can. Looking at a 2.5 second stop. The team getting right to work, and we are away just like that. Hard tyres now in the car. Those take us through the mid portion of the race. Take us to lap 20. Perhaps we could go further in if we need to. So I have to see what the plan is there. Pit limits are now disengaged, and we're back on the racetrack. Perez there in P19, 15 seconds in front. Just notice at the back of the pack, he was running dead last until myself and Perez came in the pit lane. So not a good start for Yuki, but hopefully he'll be able to recover that later on and get himself higher in the order, perhaps to the front of that little train. Pushing on at the end of the lap now, and we're going to try and get some. We will get some of those places back from some of the cars around us. Ocon and Magnussen in particular, they were in that pack behind us. So we're going to try and take positions back from those two. Towards turn 1 we come. Ocon out the pit lane. It's going to be very close. We're going to be side by side with the Alpine into the corner. But of course we've got the better drive in. And on the exit we have all the momentum to pull clear. And we are back up into position once more. As we're in front of Ocon, I imagine we'll be in front of Zhou and Stroll too. Now let's try and pull away here as best we can. On to lap 10 of this race. Ocon's still there. You've got a lot more battery to use at this point. As we go through towards turn, we're back into P13 again. Ocon and Zhou, they're behind us. Zhou and Stroll both in the pit lane to my knowledge there. And pushing on towards the end. We've got a lot of battery to be using at this stage of the race. So plenty to be thinking about in terms of defending from Ocon, who is almost falling away a little bit. But there we go. It was on none. That explains it. So unless trying to avoid forgetting to change that back. So because that could be a problem. And that's why Bottas has built like a 7-8 second lead. We're going to start closing him down now.
Currently burning through fuel a bit quicker than we'd like, so let's try and make it last for now, please.
And that can be a struggle. Given that we're trying to run down the Sauber, which is probably faster than we are, despite the ERS, that could be a problem. So I imagine we may have to forego that target and just try and push as best we can to try and catch him. Because I'd rather score a point than get an objective at this point in the series. Just try and get a point on debut is always an exciting thing to do. Ocon 2 seconds back from us now, so we actually have gained quite a fair bit after putting the ERS back on medium. Just shows you how good these ERS modes are in particular. On to lap 16 here, coming towards the end of that fuel target. Hamilton's into the pit lane, Bottas coming in too. So these guys who went slightly further on their first stints now pitting. As we go down the main straight again, we're getting a lot of places here. Number of cars in the pits. Perez in the pits there, and we're going to pass him on exit. That puts us up into P7. Number of cars yet to make their second stops in this race. Into turn 1 we go, all by ourselves. Ocon is 4.7 back. Bottas, we were getting closer and closer the whole time, but now we have to deal with Sergio Perez, the Mexican Minister of Defense, now on the offense as we charge through turn 11. You see us struggling. It's still a little bit slidey on the rear tyres there. Not fantastic to be doing at this stage of the race, despite the fact the hard tyres can go a lot longer. Perez is there, waiting to pounce, and the more time we spend fighting Perez, the more chances there is of Ocon closing in. We're going to try and avoid that as best we can, as Perez looks to close as much as he can here. I assume he's using his battery as well as we go into the last corner on the circuit. We failed that fuel objective, so I'm not too fussed, but Perez is more our concern now. Down the main straight, DRS wide open for the Mexican, practically shoving us down the main straight there as he charged towards turn 1. He's getting right there behind us, and as everyone comes to the pits now, we are faced with fighting for a much higher position in the running order, if only briefly. And I see Max Verstappen appearing there just in front of Ocon. Unfortunately, Ocon could not hold him up, so I imagine we'll be dealing with him in a few laps' time. Sainz and one more car to pit in this race. I'm not sure who that'll be. It might be one of the McLarens potentially. But Perez gets the better of us there, into turn 4. And now on to lap 18 and start lap 19. Verstappen is in range. But as Norris and Sainz both pit, we are now fighting Sergio Perez for the race lead on debut. Of course, let's face it, we're not really meant to be here, but by all means, we're going to try and fight it. But Verstappen is closing in as we get towards the end of the lap. Then he's right on our tail as Perez starts to pull away. Red Bull versus RB. There's only really one winner here, and that will be Max Verstappen. You see the red light flashing, meaning our ERS is out, meaning that Verstappen has all the impotence in the world to charge through and reclaim second place as he looks to try and fight his teammate for his race victory over the last 10-11 laps or so. We're now down in P3, getting a good toe off these guys, so we'll try and stick with them as best we can to make our stop.
We don't want to let this hold us up too long, so do your best to get past and get on with the race.
And Mark has been, I don't know what Mark's thinking there, thinking we could try and take Perez, or try and take both Red Bulls in an RB, but luckily there's a fail-safe in line for objectives such as that being placed. He's coming for our second stop here.
Okay, don't worry about that target for now. Let's just focus on this pit stop.
Nice and easy. So we're going for our second and final stop in this race, going on to the medium tyres, so hopefully a bit more charge towards the end of the Grand Prix compared to everyone else. In we come here, look at that stop, and there's a problem on the front left. What's happened there? That's lost us crucial seconds, and we are now away, but what just went wrong? What the hell just happened?
There seems to have been a bit of a problem removing the left front wheel. We need to try and put that behind us though and finish the race strong. That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops. Let's go.
Okay. That could cost us massively here. We emerge just under 6 seconds behind Valtteri, so we can still catch him on these medium tyres, and we are catching him as he comes in at number 22. The pit stop mistake is quickly forgiven because we're now at the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, and that'll be one bonus point if we can take to top 10. So we could score 2 points on debut if we maintain this lap. Of course, if we finish P11, it means nothing. Ocon is 6.3 back. He's no threat to us. But at this point, I'm used to having a whole train behind me before the end of the race in these first Grand Prix. So I'm grateful to not have that, and this time actually have someone to chase. We come through midway through lap 24, and we are closing that gap quite quickly. sliding the car slightly on the edge of control there, but Bottas knows we're coming. Actually, he's got EOS lined up to defend from us as we come through towards the last corner once again. We have 5 laps to see if we can take Bottas and try and score our first points as we come off the last corner. Big slide there. Oh no! And Bottas gets away. No doubt, very pleased with what he just saw in his mirrors. Big mistake, and that could cost us massively there. A bit of damage dealt to our tyres with 5 laps to go, and that gap goes right back up again to 4 seconds. And I dare say that'll be all she wrote for this Grand Prix. So come on to the last lap. We are struggling with fuel here. We're just underneath what we need in order to finish the Grand Prix, as a massive slide through turn 1 more or less confirms our fate at the end of this one. So, points were right there. It could have happened, but it wasn't to be, and I'm not too annoyed with that. Meanwhile, though, one driver who won't be annoyed at all is Max Verstappen, who does his thing and runs towards the line to win the first race of 2024. He wins the Bahrain Grand Prix. Sergio Perez coming towards the line second to make it a 1-2 for the team from Milton Keynes, and Lando Norris will round things off from McLaren in third, with a big gaggle of cars being led, I believe, by one of the Ferraris off the last corner just behind them. As for us, though, we've got a few more corners left to go. The medium tyres have been absolutely run through at this point of the Grand Prix, and we're looking just to finish this one off strong as we make our way towards the checker flag. For a first race, very pleased with the pace we exhibited today, but looking just to try and get a bit more out of it. Those little mistakes and the pit stop error probably will cost us points in the end, but regardless, come off the last corner here to finish off what's been a very enjoyable debut race in F1 24, and with a P11 finish, solid start, I'll take it.
And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
Good race today, guys. I feel like it could be better, but it's a good start.
That's it then for another spectacular Grand Prix here in Bahrain, and a real champion's drive to take the win.
Well, you're always unsure of the competition and what your opponents have been able to do in the off-season, Crofty, but they've come here today, they've delivered the performance that you dream about, and wow, did they make that car sing today. Really impressive stuff.
Red Bull are our winners today after showcasing some incredible driving. There's been a huge push from them lately to stay competitive with the other teams, and they're certainly proving themselves.
So Max Verstappen does what Max Verstappen does and wins the opening race of the season. Perez follows him in second and Norris in third place. P11 for us, solid result. Not too disappointed with how that one started. In terms of difficulty, I may ramp things up in the next race just to see how we can take it. But the celebrations begin for Red Bull in a season I expect to be very dominant for them. But as the other teams catch up, they could be in a bit more trouble, and we could be still in for a fight for the World Championship in 2024.
After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time out. Be sure to join us once again as we continue to bring you all the excitement of Formula One.
So have a look at the remainder of your top 10 then. Leclerc finishes in 4th, Alonso takes 5th in the end, Russell 6th, Sainz in 7th, Hamilton 8th, Piastri 9th, and Bottas was just in front of us in the end. He rounds out the top 10. In terms of Tsunoda finishing a bit further down the order, no points for either one of the RB cars today, which is a shame to see, but hopefully we'll get some on the board later on. It's expected because we are the 9th fastest car on the grid. Of course, no bonus point for fastest lap for anyone because we nabbed it at the end. The only drivers do a 1 minute 31 in the end. Tsunoda finishes in P19 in the end. So rivalry off to a good start for us, but not so good for him. I imagine he'll come fighting back at us in the next race in Saudi Arabia. All in all, P11, very satisfied. In terms of the Drivers' Championship, it's as you were. Verstappen leads Perez by 7, Norris by 10, Leclerc by 13, and Alonso by 15. Simple as there, no points for us. Red Bull lead by 25 to Ferrari, that 1-2 finish. Six teams scored points in the race. Visa Cash Up RB, Alpine, Williams, and Haas went no scores here today in Bahrain. So that'll cap things off for the first race then. Of course, we'll have a look at how our ratings have improved after this very exciting and enjoyable first race. In terms of teammate rivalry, 4 out of 6 beats a 0 out of 6. We take the lead over Tsunoda, which is a good start over our teammate. Hopefully we'll try to continue that in the next race in Jeddah, but I doubt he'll let us have it too easily. In terms of ratings, we can't expect as much improvement as we saw in F2. We won't be gaining 2 or more ratings on each race, so that'll be a long-term target for the season. We get close to 75, we're getting about a third there, which is good to see. Have a quick breakdown of exactly what we did to achieve those targets. So I think if we keep on scoring like that, then I dare say we'll definitely hit 80 for the end of the season, but I could be wrong, because I imagine it gets to the point there's more and more points to score to get your rating up as it goes on. We'll have to wait and see in terms of where that takes us. In terms of recognition, it's only just in Yuki's favour, 51% to our 49%, but we'll get that going, and we'll get a second R&D secret upgrade perk as we get further on, as we get that in perhaps the next Grand Prix, who knows. And just like one specialist, we get a bit more XP for our manufacturing expert for completing the race weekend and completing those objectives over the course of the race weekend as well. So with that said, that'll more or less do it for this episode. I do hope you guys enjoyed this one. Hope I covered everything that's new within the driver career. If you did like it, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. As always, make sure to leave a comment telling me what you enjoyed about what I could have done better. And until my next video, you guys, have an absolutely fantastic day, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye, everyone.